Hi, this is Rebecca Sackett. I wanted to do a video on using the attachment control on a SharePoint list. I use these quite a bit, especially when you only have a couple of documents. So this is going to be a little bit on the how-to, but a lot of it's just going to be more here's an idea kind of thing. So I started out with my SharePoint list. I have one that, so this is for whenever somebody wants to open up a new job and they have certain documents that they need to submit and a process that it needs to go. We were going to do just a flow for the approval, but we wanted to go ahead and do it in an app so that they can also review the documents and post comments and kind of go back and forth, because a lot of times they work out details before this is a finished process. So I have my main one that's going to be whenever they make a new request. So this is going to, I put the auto ID number that's generated from the SharePoint list. If you don't see that, you can do edit the current view and you can click to see it. I don't really need that right now, but if you wanted to be able to view that ID, you can see it here. So after the item's created, I patch it back in and make that my title field, and it's kind of my tie point between all these SharePoint lists. And I have like just a little bit of information on it, a status, and then kind of who it's assigned to, because it's always kind of in someone's bucket. I have one that's comments, so that they can put comments back and forth on what's going on with it, and they can also tag a person. This is just a people field, and the rest of these are text fields. And then this title is that same ID number. That's my tie point. So this one will have multiples for the same, in that same title one. On the proposals, bid sheet, and purchase order, these are just going to, there should only be one line item for each of the ID numbers. That title field is that auto ID from the open job. And then I have a status just because it's an easy way to pull it out. And then this one is looking at the, it's mostly here for the attachments. So I don't see that by default, so I'm going to go ahead and make that visible, and you can see each of these items have an attachment. Same for the others. The bid sheet, they're all exactly the same. They just have the title, status, and the attachment. And so that's kind of all I've got on my how I set my data up. So let me just show you real quick kind of how the app works. So I'm a PM. I want somebody to open a new job request. I go in here, and then I have certain criteria that I have to put in. So we're going to put a customer's name, a job name, and we didn't want to do a whole lot. Division, because it goes to two different people, one if it's one and one if it's the other, and then if engineering is required or not. And this will have something to do with who gets notified. So the default here on the project manager I did for the current user, because that's normally who's going to be doing it, but they can change it. And just so you know, the way that I did that is for the default selected, I just make it where it's showing the current user. This is a variable I set at the beginning on the onStart that's just setting the variable called current user to the current user. So it's just display name, it's going to be the current user's full name. But on this part, I've had a few people ask for this before on the update. What I did is said, if the data card here, the combo box, selected display name is current user, then I'm going to go ahead and post all, put all this information here. This is what you need for doing the current user. And then if not, just do the one that's selected. So this is what you need if you ever want it to default to the current user, to make that information carry over. The salesman is not required, and then this estimated completion date, that is required. I haven't decided if I'm going to make that default to anything yet or not. Okay, so for over here, this is one form, and these are three separate forms. So this one is going to be, so this is the new request, and that is tied to that open job. But this one over here is going to be the proposal, and that's to this proposal work SharePoint list, I should say. And then all that it's going to have is the title field and the attachments field. The title field, what I made it go to is the form new request, which is this one's last submitted ID. So what I did is that this form doesn't submit off the submit button. It submits after this one is submitted. So on the on success of this, it's going to submit these 3 forms over here. And then it also is going to patch back and replace that title. So right now my title for this one is just temporary. It's going to replace it with the last ID. So that's what's given me that this title here is the auto ID number. I needed a unique value. The customer name could be the same sometimes. The job name should be a little different, but it could be the same sometimes. I needed something that was unique, so I used the ID. It's just kind of an access habit. And then it's going to patch a comment saying that this was submitted. And then go to confirmation screen. So that's all I've got on these. It's just the title and then the attachment. So what I did on the attachments is I limited it, because there's only supposed to be 1 of each of these. I limited it to 1 attachment, and then I made it where it's required. So I've got the little star here that shows if this is empty. So if this box is empty, then make the star show. So, and then I have this shows if any of those stars are visible, and this is disabled if this shows. So that's just kind of a breakdown of how it works. So I did not force this PDF. I haven't decided if I'm going to yet, but you could. I'm just going to click on some random ones that I have. Okay, so I've got all my required fields. So now I'm going to submit. So what I have on the submit button, because it takes a minute to do all that patching, is I make it where it's show loading true, and then it submits the form. So it's going to pop up show loading and submit the form, and then it's going to have all that on success. And then it's going to submit those other 3 forms, do the patch, and then it takes me to another screen. So I kind of did it a little different. And just make sure, I just have a little spinner thing you'll see for my loading that I use a lot. So I submit is show loading, so it's submitting this, and then it's going to, after that's on success, it's going to submit this one, and this one, and it's going to patch to make those couple of changes and post my comment. And it takes me to a confirmation screen. So it says your new request for customer name 100 was submitted to the department head. Would you like to add any additional comments? If they want to add some extra comments that say this or that and tag a person so that way they get notified, they can. I'm not going to. So let me just show you though how these documents, the way I made it display. So if I click on a customer, I've kind of got this detail screen. You can see where all the comments are. A lot of these are done automatically. And then I haven't done anything with that actions yet, but the documents part. Okay, so when I go through and click, each of them pulls up the attachment here. It's kind of confusing because I clicked on some that are similar, but these are actually different. I probably clicked on the same document. Oh no, the numbers are changing. Okay. And if they want to, they can download it if they need to be able to email it or something. Otherwise, they can just view it right here. Excuse me. Otherwise, they can just view it here in the document by clicking these in this PDF viewer. So I'm going to show you how I kind of did this so that you can see. So what I have here is this is 6 galleries over here. So I have one gallery here that is filtering for everything on my SharePoint list called proposals that has the same title as the variable that Ver selected, which was selected by the gallery in this edit screen. What was it? So the variable set when I click this icon. And then clicked on the wrong one. So this is, that's what this gallery is. And then this gallery below it, let me see if I can actually click on it, is showing everything from the gallery above selected attachments. The reason that this works fine for me is because mine will only have one attachment. If you had multiple, you would have to list these out in the gallery and let them select each, but mine will only have one, so it's really not an issue for me. And then when I click this, it's going to make it show the proposal, basically, which is what, I can never seem to click on that, what this visible property is here, is show proposal. So this is the attachments for this SharePoint list, and that's what's showing here. And then for my PDF viewer, it's going to be showing what is selected in this. So it's showing the gallery proposal docs, which is the second one's selected value. I haven't figured out a good way whenever you're going through them and it's different data sources to make that filter flip back and forth on the PDF viewer. So right now I just have 3 in here. I think if I had any more than that, I probably would need to come up with a better solution in regards to that. Normally I only have 1 document that I'm using. I use the PDF viewer a lot. I like it. So anyway, this is just kind of one way that you can go through and have these documents and kind of do an approval without doing it all just through Flow if you want people to be able to pull it up. For our situation, they want to be able to do this from an iPad, basically. So he would be able to go here, look at the documents, and then they're going to have where they can click here on the actions and they could prove it. The other thing that I did here that I like is if I wanted to edit this information, I can go here to the edit request. It looks similar to my new screen did, and it's going to allow me to edit the details. If I go here and change this, so I want to change this to customer name 300. This little check mark is going to show up anywhere I made it a change at. So this one didn't have an estimated completion because I added that later. See the little check marks every time I change something. Same with over here on the proposal or any of these documents. I can delete this and I can go ahead and attach something else. And then this little check mark is going to show saying, okay, this is what you changed. So let's see, I'm on customer name 300. So let's go ahead and save the changes. And what I have it do is it's going to automatically post comments to tell people that you made changes without you having to go in here and do it. So it says that I made changes, the estimated completion date was updated, and then also the attached proposal was updated. So it's just kind of automatically creating these comments. And I just did that off of a pretty easy if statement. It really wasn't anything complicated. Let me see. I think it was on here. So I needed it before the submit form because if it submits it, it's going to change some of that. So I just kind of have here for each of the, I only had a few fields, so it wasn't hard to just do it this way. So I did, if the little icon is visible, then put a comment that the customer was updated. If the edit icon for job name is visible, then put that the job name was updated. It just kind of goes through on each of those. And so what I have on the icon is it's visible if this item customer name does not equal this data card value, then I want you to show me. So it's just saying if what the original value and what's in here right now are not the same, make it visible. So that's kind of just how I did that. So anyway, this is just kind of a few little ideas. Maybe you can take a little piece of it here and there and you can use it for anything that you have going. This one's still kind of a work in process, so I'm still kind of changing my mind on a few things and flip-flopping, but it's basically got the concept down that I'm needing for this scenario. So anyway, I hope that this is helpful to someone. All right, thanks.